What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game. Man, you already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great. And even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, understanding and knowing that as humans, we go far beyond what is told to us and what we can process on a regular level. Like, oftentimes we're born into this world thinking we just regular humans facing battles, you know what I'm saying, and not really having no value or significant to the world, you know what I'm saying. But listen and understand that as a baby, when you're born, everyone gets a social security number and a birth certificate, and they test your blood, and there are scientists behind the scenes that we don't see that are looking for certain things in people's blood, because there are species when it comes to humans, you know what I'm saying. And personally, I feel like there are ones that, you know what I'm saying, come from love, you know what I'm saying, and have traits, and then there are ones that don't really care about love and chase material but have certain traits. It's kind of complex, but it's in the blood that makes each human being different, you know what I'm saying. And you may think that you just being a normal regular human person, but you're not realizing every doctor's appointment, every illness you have is being tracked and logged. And when they take blood to see if there's anything wrong with you, it could be going behind the scenes to people who are skilled and took classes in knowing what to look for. So if you have some type of difference in your blood that's different from this, trust and believe me, if it's far off and they've never seen it before, they're doing testing on it. But again, they are not inclined to let you know, you know what I'm saying, what may be in your future or who you may really be, because then if you're someone that has the ability to change the dynamic of the world, they don't want that, you know what I'm saying. Because again, like I said, it's a certain species that runs the world. And so if you were at a certain level to where you would be able to see certain things that they've kept hidden, of course they're not going to tell you about it, you know what I'm saying. But know and understand that every apartment, every job, every, you know what I'm saying, government assistance, every, you know what I'm saying, thing that you do that is something that can be tracked, so they can make sure that they're aware of who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. Because at any moment you set that detection energy off, they are now alerted to the fact that now is the time that you finally realize who you are, because they have been trying to keep it under the radar for so long, you know what I'm saying. I trust and believe me when I say this: when the world shifts, the energy shifts, you feel me, there are scientists that have been studying certain things for a very long time, you know what I'm saying, and they're fully aware of what's going to happen in the near future. We just don't know. So don't be surprised when you see like a certain group of people quit all of a sudden that's been in that field for like 30-40 years, because they discovered something a long time ago, you know what I'm saying. But there were certain people around them that wanted to maintain that control, that did everything they could to make sure that certain information didn't get out. But when it became exposed without the information, but it was seen, it's almost as if you couldn't hide from that. So certain people just decided to quit and walk out, you feel me, because they no longer could be behind the deception that they use to alter the world in a certain way, because it's not going to be able to be hidden anymore, you know what I'm saying. Listen, a lot of us probably felt as if our life was just chaotic, you know what I'm saying. It couldn't get no worse than what we managed to go through in our life, you know what I'm saying, whether it's physically, mentally, you know what I'm saying, emotionally, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But when you get to a point in your life where you finally understand who you are, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like, damn, if I'd have knew this a long time ago, you feel me. But again, like I said, there's a certain set of people scientifically that make discoveries about humans and life, energy, and earth before we do, you know what I'm saying. But you got to think, if that information got into the wrong hands, who would be able to make a killing off of it. Us as humans are not humans. We all have a price tag on us. You know what I'm saying? And every corporation, every system is basically paid off by the bodies that they have in that corporation, in that system. And if you're of high value and you're worth a lot, you know what I'm saying? Not your spirit, not who you are, you know what I'm saying? They don't care about none of that. All they're worried about is the fact that if you made it through everything you've been through in this hard life and you didn't die off and you here surviving today, you could be worth a whole lot more than you think you are. You know what I'm saying? And certain people make it to where you suffer or put in low vibrational states of thinking so you can be a body in these corporations that get paid to make millions off of you. You know what I'm saying? By you just being there. You know what I'm saying? Because they've basically shifted the whole system to make sure that at some point you would be an asset to them instead of an asset to yourself. You know what I'm saying? They never truly want you to ever figure out and realize who you are. You kind of got to like go up the totem pole on your own. But until you make it that far, you know what I'm saying? There are going to be things that you may need. Things that they know the regular average human being depends on. So if we strip it from under your feet and we know that you're a valuable asset, you know what I'm saying? We're going to use it to our advantage so we can get paid. And you continue to, you know what I'm saying, be without certain things. Because you got to think of it. When you got your own spot, that's a safe house. You know what I'm saying? It's the ability to have your energy in that location and in that space. And you can do whatever is necessary for you to protect your energy in that space. If you don't have stability, your energy is accessible from wherever you decide to go or wherever you decide to, you know what I'm saying, lean into for resources. You feel me? They're aware of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's crazy trippy how, if you think about it, all these systems are designed, you feel me, to keep track of certain people to make money off of them. So you got to think of like jails, prisons, you feel me, food stamps, EBT, cash aid, homeless shelters, you feel me, anything where a growing number of population is, even libraries, you feel me. They say it's free funded, and granted there are people who put money into that, but then you got to think about it, who is putting the money into that, you feel me, to keep it running? AC, you feel me. I understand the books are donated, but it's a public building that still has to be taken care of. Electricity, lights, even welfare, even prisons where they supply food and things for showers, you feel me? Because people are not realizing that who your vessel and what you carry is actually paying the price for them corporations to keep surviving. You feel me? Without certain bodies, you feel me, in that corporation, they wouldn't get paid for the bodies. And then there are some that are a little bit more overpriced, a little bit worth more than certain people. You know what I'm saying? But as long as that person doesn't know their own worth, they're able to use that person's worth to benefit their system. You know what I'm saying? To keep money flowing so it can be a good cover up for whatever darkness they may be hiding behind. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of things done underground in the dark world that we don't know about. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of it is to keep certain humans in a certain bracket. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we don't even understand the worth that we have. And the ability to construct in your mind that your energy of who you are produces, you feel me, money. You know what I'm saying? Produces electricity. Produces certain things to the world that'll help you know the value of who you really are. You know what I'm saying? But you got to know it first. They're not going to tell you that, because if they tell you that, that means the people that know who they are, that's running things, they have the ability to be in competition with you. So they're not going to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure that out for yourself. But know and understand a lot of that is going on right now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the dysfunction and the poverty and the people, you know what I'm saying, being hungry and being homeless. Oftentimes they figure like if we do that, that keeps those certain functions and systems functioning. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, there are certain people that have remedies. You know what I'm saying? Like substance abuse classes, mental health classes, you know what I'm saying? But again, you got to think the things that you want or desire in your life, the basic things are tied to those things. You get what I'm saying? So it's almost as if, like, if we use you to say you got a mental health disease, we give you housing. You feel me? Because it's kind of hard to break out of mental health. More likely than not, you won't break out of that, and you'll continue to be like that, and we'll continue to, you feel me, make money off the prescriptions that you need, as well as showing, you feel me, and painting a narrative of the people that are in this type of statistical situation. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think people even understand or realize how much of a value they may be to the world. Then they know. You know what I'm saying? But that means you got to shed all boundaries, all confinements on who you think you are, who people painted you out to be, and actually know who you are, because you could be worth way more than you even understand. You know what I'm saying? Because your vessel, the body, the energy, everything is built with people. People make the world go round. Without people, nothing functions. You know what I'm saying? Certain things don't function without us. You know what I'm saying? So you got to really think about it on a deeper scope. And then there are ones that, once they know their worth and know the value that they hold, they have the ability to break out the confinement that they was trapped in. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? So they keep testing you and testing you over and over again to see how much strength you have to be able to fight this battle, because you are going to have enemies when you level up. And these are just people that are still accustomed to the world that they've been living in, and have gotten so comfortable with living like that, you're a threat to that. You know what I'm saying? And they know the moment that you make it out of that, they have to pay for all the things they've done to get ahead in life, which weren't right. You feel me? So that's why they do everything to try to lower the value of how much you think you were. You know what I'm saying? Put you in certain statistical situations so you can keep funding that mentality, which helps other people feed their families while you continue to be broke. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you, it's a system design. That's why a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of schooling, a lot of clearance to get into offices and rooms where we don't have access to certain information. You know what I'm saying? But if everybody had access to information that was available in the world, just imagine what we would be able to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Tons and thousands of dollars go into research to be able to keep the world functioning. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes time in life where the energy shifts on the planet, you don't think national security is aware of new crimes that are going to be committed? You don't think the world and the president, the governor is aware that there's going to be a crisis on homelessness? Like, they know. They knew before we even was in this situation. You feel me? And they figure out how to make money off of certain situations. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So if you are someone that probably never realized how you were a product of the government, you know what I'm saying? But if you backtrack on your life and you start to pay attention, think about all the times where you was in government custody or you was under a government program. How much they were using your energy, because currency is your energy, to fund that situation. You know what I'm saying? And they know the value that you hold in that situation, so they do everything they can to manipulate your mind to think that you belong in that situation because it funds them. When you finally recognize your light and you have the ability to understand, hey, I was never supposed to be there in the first place, that changes the whole dynamic. That changes the worth of your currency. You know what I'm saying? They always knew, you feel me, the price that was on you because of the testing they did when you was a baby. You know what I'm saying? And what they may have found in your blood, because it's detected through there. You know what I'm saying? But if they have you in certain scenarios and situations that's biologically tied to you, you know what I'm saying? Oftentimes they're able to convince you of, you feel me, staying in a low vibrational area, situation, environment, level of thinking, so that you never realize your worth. You feel me? And then it's like, when you finally discover that, you realize how much essential you're worth, you feel me, to the world. And maybe why, again, your life didn't happen to you, it happened for you. You feel me? You just couldn't see the blueprint at the time, because if you would have been able to see it, imagine if people just knew how their life was going to be 20, 40, 30 years from now. Everybody would be trying to do everything to prevent things, stop things, and that's just not how life works. You feel me? Some things is just out of your control. You have no control over that, and you just got to let life flow. You know what I'm saying? So again, knowing and understanding that everything that you are assigned at birth that makes your identity is tagged to you. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, they're aware of how much of value you are as a person to the world. Everybody. That's why everybody is tagged. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like the scientists who study certain transformation in humans, because you got to think, only reason why it's cures and only reason why it's antidotes to certain things is because they study humans. They take their blood, they study them, they figure out cell production, they figure out how to make us a medication to, you know what I'm saying, not exactly make it go away, but cure the symptoms until your body is able to heal it itself. Like, your body does the healing itself. The medication just aids in the process. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe it may be too slow. Maybe it may be too fast. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it may not be going the right way. You know what I'm saying? So whenever that happens, like say for instance you get shot, the bullet fragments are lodged inside your body. You cannot survive with some of those bullet fragments in your body because they're in areas that might kill you. So they got to go in and take them out, stitch you back up, and then give you medication to just get through the healing process. Your body is going to heal itself. You feel me? And then some humans, they have bullet fragments still in their body because it's too dangerous to take them out. You know what I'm saying? But they're studying that. It's just you're so focused on healing that you're not even asking certain questions. You're just ready to heal and get out. You know what I'm saying? And they got it programmed like that to where we're not interested in certain things. So they're able to keep a certain level of information private. You know what I'm saying? But again, there are people that are now illuminated in this world that ask questions to try to get down to the meat and potatoes. Like, what's really going on? And sometimes these people have answers to these questions, but they're not ready for the person or anybody asking certain questions. So they'll act as if they don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then there are some people that don't know for real. So they're going to look at you like you're stupid because they weren't prepared for the question you were asking. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so nobody ever questioned you? And it obviously not. You feel me? We are really a society that don't question anything. We just get bad results. And we move on thinking that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? No. You feel me? Because I'm telling you, it's a whole level of knowledge and education and dark underworld things that we don't know because we don't ask questions. We just settle for what is. You know what I'm saying? But listen, let me tell you something. Truly, authentically, there are people that have been studying a certain race, you know what I'm saying, a certain level of energy in people for a very long time, but they would not allow people to even catch a hint, you feel me, to being able to become wise to who they are, because they know that once they blossom up to that, you feel me, it's over for them. You know what I'm saying? Or again, like I said, you know things too early about your life, it could change the direction of it. But again, don't be mistaken. There are a lot of deception being played behind the scenes of people who knew, you know what I'm saying, and wanted you for their own benefit. When people want to use your vessel because they know deep down you're an asset to the world for their own good, they will never tell you what it is inside of you until you figure it out yourself. You feel me? And then you start backtracking on your life and realizing why a lot of people were obsessive and controlling over you. It's because you provided energetically an asset to them, and you don't even realize it because it's invisible. You could be the reason why, you know what I'm saying, your family members may be getting XYZ, money, extra resources, this, that, and this. You feel me? Because your vessel is an energy source of money to them. They just didn't want you to know that. So when you got to a point where you were ready to break free and separate yourself from them, that's why they went so hard on trying to put your character down, because they didn't want you to know your worth, because your worth was accessible to them. It's sad, but it's real. And it be happening all the time. And people be thinking it's just loneliness and abandonment, and you be calling, trying to reach out to people. Those people want you to lean on them because you're an asset to them instead of being an asset to yourself. That's why it's better to just stay to yourself, learn what you need to learn, and just play the role. Let it work out the way it's supposed to. They hid you for a reason, because maybe it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? higher forces. But then when it is time, you got to let it play out, because this is like reconditioning of the mind, and it takes time, you know what I'm saying, to be able to look at the world in a different way. It's speeding up, it's not slowing down, you know what I'm saying. And again, like I said, there were scientists who knew of this change way back in 2017. They knew what was to come, you know what I'm saying. So don't be shocked about who you may be or who you discover that you are. You feel me? They knew that, you know what I'm saying. But they kept a lot of people from knowing that about who they are, so that these certain powerful people can continue to run the world and control people's minds. You know what I'm saying? It's tricky, but it's a real thing. So listen, understand and know your worth. Know what you bring to the table. Don't settle for less. Don't let them have your mind. Don't let them control you. Don't let them just tell you anything. Ask questions. You know what I'm saying? You have the right as a human being to ask questions. You don't just got to lay down for nothing. You know what I'm saying? But they're not used to that. So if they get to stuttering, that should let you know right there. But you won't know those little signs unless you know yourself. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.